Welcome to the Madison Lore Podcast. Today is Monday, September 11th, 2023. Today we're going to recap yesterday's Week 1 NFL games. Look ahead to tonight's Monday night game. We have the college football from the weekend to go over too. MLB, FIBA, WNBA, tennis, NASCAR, Masked Singer season preview, news and notes, and best bet. We'll start the NFL. We will go over the results from Week 1 and look ahead to the Monday night game for tonight. Ravens over the Texans 25-9. Baltimore 1-0. Texans 0-1. Lamar Jackson 17-22, 169 yards and a pick. 6 for 38 on the ground. C.J. Stroud 28 of 44, 242 yards. Browns over the Bengals 24-3. The Browns 1-0. Cincinnati 0-1. Deshaun Watson 16-29, 154 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Joe Burrow 14-31, 82 yards. He was terrible coming off that injury. Bucks over the Vikings 20-17. Bucks 1-0. Minnesota 0-1. Baker Mayfield was okay. 21-34, 173 yards, 2 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins 33-44, 344 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Fantasy numbers, but not reality. Saints over the Titans 16-15. Saints 1-0, Titans 0-1. Derek Carr 23-33, 305 yards, a touchdown and a pick. He was okay. Ryan Tannehill, meanwhile, wasn't very good. 16-34, 498 yards and 3 picks. Falcons over the Panthers 24-10. Falcons 1-0, Panthers 0-1. Desmond Ridder 15 of 18, 115 yards and a touchdown. Bryce Young 20-38, 146 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. Jaguars over the Colts, 31-21, so the Jaguars covered at the end. They're 1-0, Colts 0-1. Trevor Lawrence, 24-32, 241, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Anthony Richardson, 24-37, 223 yards, a touchdown and a pick. 10 for 40 on the ground with a touchdown. So Anthony Richardson was okay in his debut. Best rookie quarterback. In that debut. 49ers over the Steelers, 30-7. 49ers absolutely dominant. They're 1-0. Pittsburgh 0-1. Brock Purdy, 19-20, 220 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kenny Pickett, 31 of 46, 232 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. He was not very good. Commanders over the Cardinals, 20-16. The Commanders 1-0. Arizona's 0-1. Sam Howell, 19-31, 202 yards, a touchdown and a pick. Josh Dobbs, 21-30, 132 yards. Raiders upset the Broncos 17-16. Vegas 1-0. Denver 0-1. Jimmy Garoppolo 20 of 26, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. Russell Wilson 27-34, 177 yards and 2 touchdowns. Dolphins beat the Chargers 36-34 in probably the most entertaining game of the day. Miami 1-0. Chargers 0-1. Tua Tagovailoa 28 of 45, 466 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Justin Herbert 23 of 33, 228 yards and a touchdown. Eagles over the Patriots 25-20. Philly 1-0, New England 0-1. Jalen Hurts 22 of 33, 170 yards and a touchdown. Mac Jones was very good, I thought. 35 of 54, 316 yards, 3 touchdowns and a pick. Packers over the Bears 38-20. Packers 1-0. Chicago 0-1. Jordan Love pretty good in his debut. 15 of 27, 245 yards, 3 touchdowns. Justin Fields 24 of 37, 216 yards, a touchdown and a pick. The Rams over the Seahawks 30-13. The Rams 1-0, Seahawks 0-1. The Rams, Matt Stafford played well, 24 of 38, 334 yards, and Geno Smith was terrible. 16 of 26, 112 yards, and a touchdown. He, to me, was not very good. And probably the most lopsided and flop of a game of the day, the Cowboys over the Giants, 40-0 on Sunday Night Football. Cowboys 1-0, New York 0-1. Dak Prescott, 13 of 24, 143 yards. He didn't have to do much. Daniel Jones was horrendous. 15 of 28, 104 yards, and 2 picks. He was probably the worst quarterback of the day, although Burrow had worse numbers. At least the Bengals put up a field goal, and plus Burrow was coming off an injury. Him and Jones and Kenny Pickett, to me, were the 2 worst quarterbacks of the day. Geno Smith was not very good either. He was awful in losing to the Rams. And then tomorrow night, a very highly anticipated game. The debut of Aaron Rodgers with the New York Football Jets as they host the Buffalo Bills Joe Buck, Troy Aikman on the call. I project the Jets by 1, total 41 and 2/5. And FanDuel has this at Bills by 2, total 45.5. So I have a 3-point edge on the Jets. And I have a over 4-point edge on the under. So I'm going to go with the under for the game for the podcast pick. But for a straight up pick, I'm going to go with the Jets because of the narrative and the fact that I think the Bills are a little overrated. So I'm going to go with the Jets plus the 2 and plus 108 as like on the side. But the podcast pick is going to be the under. Now let's move on to college football. Some very interesting results to talk about from the weekend and look ahead to the games. Or just kidding, we don't have any games tomorrow. So Friday, Indiana over Indiana State 41-7, Kansas over Illinois 34-23. So Friday's best bet was a winner. Saturday, Wake over Vandy 36-20. Number 1 Georgia over Ball State 45-3. Number 5 Ohio State over Youngstown State 35-7. Number 7 Penn State over Delaware 63-7. Number 10 Notre Dame over NC State 45-24. Number 12 Utah over Baylor 2013. Number 15 Kansas State over Troy 42-13. Number 22 Colorado over Nebraska 36-14. Army over Delaware State 57-0. Purdue over Virginia Tech 24-17. BC over Holy Cross 31-28. James Madison over Virginia 36-35. Georgia Tech over SC State 48-13. Central Michigan over New Hampshire 45-42. Bowling Green over Eastern Illinois 38-15. Number 25 Clemson over Charleston Southern 66-17. Kentucky over Eastern Kentucky 28-17. BYU over Southern Utah 41-16. Number 2 Michigan over UNLV 35-7. Number 20 Ole Miss over number 24 Tulane 37-20. Miami upsets number 23 Texas A&M 48-3. Iowa over Iowa State 2013. Michigan State over Richmond 45-14. Northwestern over Utah 38-7. Syracuse over Western Michigan 48-7. Miami of Ohio over UMass 41-28. UTSA over Texas State 20-13. Navy over Wagner 24-0. Southern Illinois upsets Northern Illinois 14-11. Toledo destroys Texas Southern 71-3. Arkansas over Kent State 28-6. Marshall over ECU 31-13. San Jose State over Cal Poly 59-3. Wyoming over Portland State 31-17. Number 8 Washington over Tulsa 43-10. Number 9 Tennessee over Austin Peay 30-13. South Alabama over Southeast Louisiana 35-17. Number 17 North Carolina over App State 40-34 in double overtime. Number 18 Oklahoma over SMU 28-11. Number 21 Duke over Lafayette 42-7. Liberty over New Mexico State 33-17. West Virginia over Duquesne 56-17. Georgia Southern over UAB 49-35. Ohio over FAU 17-10. Old Dominion over Louisiana 38-31. Akron over Morgan State 24-21. Fordham over Buffalo 40-37. FIU over North Texas 46-39. Cincinnati over Pitt 27-21. Number 11 Texas upsets number 3 Alabama 34-24. Number 13 Oregon over Texas Tech 38-30. Coastal Carolina over Jacksonville State 30-16. Georgia State over UConn 35-14. Louisiana Tech over Northwestern State 51-21. Missouri over Middle Tennessee 23-19. Western Kentucky over Houston Christian 52-22. UCF over Boise State 18-16. Rice over Houston 43-41 in double overtime. South Florida over Florida A&M 38-24. Memphis over Arkansas State 37-3. Idaho over Nevada 33-6. Number 14 LSU over Grambling 72-10. Wazoo over number 19 Wisconsin 31-22. Florida over McNeese 49-7. Maryland over Charlotte 38-20. Minnesota over Eastern Michigan 25-6. Mississippi State over Arizona 31-24 in overtime. Rutgers over Temple 36-7. South Carolina over Furman 47-21. UCLA over San Diego State 35-10. Air Force over Sam Houston 13-3. TCU over Nichols 41-6. UM Monroe over Lamar 24-14. New Mexico over Tennessee Tech 56-10. Utah State over Idaho State 78-28. Number 4 Florida State over Southern Miss 66-13. Number 16 Oregon State over UC Davis 55-7. Fresno State over Eastern Washington 34-31 in double overtime. Number 6 USC over Stanford 56-10. Auburn over Cal 14-10. Oklahoma State over Arizona State 27-15. And Hawaii over Albany 31-20. All right, now we move on to baseball. We will go over the results from the weekend and look ahead to today's slate, which should be smaller. Friday, D-backs over the Cubs 1-0, White Sox over the Tigers 6-0, Rays over the Mariners 7-4, Cards over the Reds 9-4, Dodgers over the Nats 8-5, Marlins over the Phillies 3-2, Brewers over the Yanks 8-2, Blue Jays over the Royals 5-4, O's over the Red Sox 11-2, Braves over the Pirates 8-2, A's over the Rangers 6-3, Twins over the Mets 5-2, Padres over the Astros 11-2, Guardians over the Angels 6-3, Giants over the Rockies 9-8. Saturday, Twins over the Mets 8-4, Brewers over the Yanks 9-2, D-backs over the Cubs 3-2-10, Jays over the Royals 5-1, Nats over the Dodgers 7-6-11, Rays over the Mariners 7-5, O's over the Red Sox 13-12, Phils over the Marlins 8-4, Tigers over the White Sox 3-1, Cards over the Reds 4-3, Rangers over the A's 3-2, Astros over the Padres 7-5, Pirates over the Braves 8-4, Rockies lose to the Giants 9-1, Angels over the Guardians 6-2. And then yesterday, Marlins over the Phils 5-4, Yanks over the Brewers 4-3-13 on a walk-off double by Kyle Higashioka after the Brewers are no-hitting the Yankees through 11. And then the Yankees got going a little bit and ended up winning the game. Tigers over the White Sox 3-2, Rays over the Mariners 6-3, Red Sox over the O's 7-3, Dodgers over the Nats 7-3, Braves over the Pirates 5-2, Jays over the Royals 5-2, Reds over the Cards 7-1, Mets over the Twins 2-0, Astros over the Padres 12-2, Cubs over the D-backs 5-2, Rangers over the A's 9-4, Angels over the Guardians 2-1, and the Giants over the Rockies 6-3 on Sunday Night Baseball. All right, today's games. We have a day game on a Monday. It's a doubleheader, Game 1, makeup game from June 21st between the Braves and the Phillies from Philadelphia, Charlie Morton and Taijuan Walker. Braves minus 140, Phils plus 120, over under 9.5, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Braves minus 1.5 is plus 110, Phils plus 1.5 is minus 132. Tough one, but I like the under, but I don't feel good about it. 6:30, Cards O's. Dakota Hudson and John Means. We haven't heard John Means' name in a long time. Remember him? He was the ace of the O staff. Then he got Tommy John surgery, and they've had all this success without him. So, low-key a Ewing theory while he was out. But not like, it was like Bryce Harper leaving and the Nats winning the World Series kind of Ewing theory, but it was weird in terms of, like, how they were better when he got hurt. It's not his fault, but it's just something to point out. But it's weird because FanDuel's saying it's Dean Kremer. The O's are minus 162, the Cards are plus 136, over under 9, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Cards plus 1.5 is minus 150, O's minus 1.5 is plus 125. I like the over in that game. Nats Pirates. Patrick Corbin TBD. The game's not posted yet. Doubleheader game 2, Braves Phillies. TBD and Mike Lorenzen. I think they split those two teams. Rangers Jays. Dane Dunning and Chris Bassett now in the 7 o'clock window. Jays minus 146, Rangers plus 124, over under 9, overs minus 104, unders minus 118. Rangers plus 1.5 is minus 176, Jays minus 1.5 is plus 146, I like the under. Yankees Red Sox. Clark Schmidt and Cutter Crawford. Red Sox are favored minus 126, Yanks are plus 108, over under 10, overs minus 102, unders minus 120. Yanks plus 1.5 is minus 181, Sox minus 1.5 is plus 152. I am going under 4.5 Yankee runs, minus 106. They haven't hit Cutter Crawford this year, let alone any mediocre pitcher. D-backs Mets. Zach Davies and Jose Quintana. Mets minus 142. D-backs plus 120. Over under 9. Overs minus 105. Unders minus 115. D-backs plus 1/2 is minus 166. Mets minus 1/2 is plus 138. I'm going Diamondbacks plus 120. Even though Davies has been terrible. So, Royals White Sox 7:30. Brady Singer, Dylan Cease. I don't see the odds up for that game. But if the total's less than 10, give me the over. Marlins Brewers. Interesting game. Jesus Luzardo, Brandon Woodruff. Brewers minus 164, Marlins plus 138, over under 7.5, overs minus 105, unders minus 115. Marlins plus 1/2 is minus 160, Brewers minus 1/2 is plus 132. That was a brutal loss for the Brewers today. Or yesterday, I'm sorry, against the Yankees. Should have won. They didn't deserve to lose that game at all. But I like the over. I think their offense showed a lot over the weekend against the Yanks. Rays Twins, Tyler Glasnow and Sonny Gray. Rays minus 126, Twins plus 108, over under 7.5, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. Rays minus 1/2 is plus 132, Twins plus 1/2 is minus 160, under. Sonny Gray's been really good on Minnesota this year. Astros A's at 8 from Houston. Mason Miller and Framber Valdez. Astros minus 100, A's plus 245, over under 8, overs minus 118, unders minus 104. A's plus 1/2 is plus 110, Astros minus 1/2 is minus 132. I'm going full game over. Astros can do it by themselves. I don't trust Oakland's pitcher to keep them in check. I like the over, even though Mason Miller's been pretty good so far. 8:30, Cubs Rockies. Jordan Wicks and Kyle Freeland. Cubs minus 180, Rockies plus 152, over under 11, overs minus 115, unders minus 105. Cubs minus 1/2 is minus 130, Rockies plus 1/2 is plus 105. The under and the Cubs run line are intriguing. Usually it's like an auto under, but the Cubs have been scoring a lot of runs. I'm going to lay it with the Cubs on the run line. Good bounce back spot for them at the Rockies. 9:30, Angels Mariners. Reed Detmers and Logan Gilbert. Mariners minus 225, Angels plus 188, over under 7.5, minus 110 each way. A's plus 1/2, or Angels plus 1/2 is minus 120, Mariners minus 1/2 is even money. I'm going Mariners run line too. I'm going to start doing run lines a lot now that we know who's trying and who's not trying. Guardians Giants at 9:45. Gavin Williams and Alex Cobb. Not a bad matchup there. Giants minus 144, Guardians plus 122, over under 7.5, minus 110 each way. Guardians plus 1/2 is minus 162, Giants minus 1/2 is plus 134. I like the under. And last but not least, 10 o'clock, Padres Dodgers. Pedro Avila and Gavin Stone. All this is locked for betting for some reason. But if the total is less than 9, give me the over. Okay, now we'll move on to FIBA. We had the close of the tournament over the weekend. We'll go over all games from Friday to Sunday. So, 7th place game, Slovenia over Italy, 89-85. 5th place game, Latvia over Lithuania, 98-63. And that was Saturday, actually. And then Friday, semifinals, Serbia over Canada, 95-86. And Germany over the U.S., 113-111. So, 2 monster upsets in the semifinals, which led us to yesterday. So, 3rd place came Canada over the U.S., 127-118 in overtime in what we thought was going to be the title game. So, Canada gets the bronze. And then the FIBA World Cup final, Germany over Serbia, 83-77, as Germany gets the gold. And Dennis Schroeder is your tournament MVP. So, congrats to Germany. And the big takeaway from this tournament is that U.S. is no longer the dominant force it once was, because there's a ton of talent in the other countries now. Now move on to the WNBA from the weekend. Today was the last day of the regular season. I think the playoffs start next week. So first round begins Wednesday. So maybe we'll try to hit up Jeff Maglicetti and see if we can get him on for Tuesday afternoon to preview the playoffs with us, because we haven't had him on in a while, and we could use a guest. So Friday, Sun over to Fever 76-59, Dream over to Mystics 80-75, Sky over to Lynx 92-87, Wings over to Storm 106-91, Aces over to Mercury 94-73, and then Sunday, Mystics over to Liberty 90-88, Wings over to Dream 94-77, Sky over to Sun 102-91 in overtime, Fever over to Lynx 87-72, Aces over to Mercury 185, and the Sparks over to Storm 91-89, and then your final standings. So with home court advantage, you have the Aces at 34-6, coming in second, the New York Liberty at 32-8, 30th, Connecticut 27-13, fourth was Dallas 22-18, fifth seeds Atlanta 19-21, Minnesota's sixth 19-21, seventh Washington 19-21, and eighth Chicago 18-22, and then your lottery teams, LA at 17-23, Indiana at 13-27, Seattle at 11-29, and Phoenix at 9-31. So, 4 sub-500 teams in the postseason. And then one team that was sub-500 was a game back. So, playoffs begin Wednesday. We'll do the picks Tuesday. Maybe we'll do them with Jeff Maggs. Now we move on to the U.S. Open. It was an exciting finish to the tournament. We'll start with the men's semifinals. 3 seed Daniil Medvedev over 1 seed Carlos Alcaraz in 4 sets, and 2 seed Novak Djokovic over Ben Shelton in 3 sets. Your women's final, 6 seed Coco Gauff defeats 2 seed Aryna Sabalenka in 3 sets. So congrats to Coco Gauff. That was awesome. So happy for her. She's earned that. And then on Sunday, 2 seed Novak Djokovic over 3 seed Daniil Medvedev in straight sets. So congrats to Novak Djokovic. He deserves it. And he's the best tennis player on planet Earth, hands down. And great bounce back for him after losing the last tennis tournament. So Novak Djokovic and Coco Gauff are your champions for the U.S. Open. Okay, now move on to NASCAR. We'll go over the weekend's results. We will start with trucks. Just notice that the trucks race Thursday this week, so gotta remind ourselves to do NASCAR on the Thursday podcast. Rarity, but gotta remember that. All right, so the Kansas Lottery 200, your winner was Christian X. Second, Tanner Gray. Third, Matt DiMatteo. Fourth, Corey Heim. Fifth, Zane Smith. Sixth, Carson Osbar. Seventh, Stuart Friesen. Eighth, Nick Sanchez. Ninth, Tanner Ankrum. 10th, Jake Drew. The rest, Jake Garcia, Raja Caruth, Jesse Love, Chase Purdy, Dean Thompson, Jack Wood, Grant Effinger, Ty Majeski, Colby Howard, Brett Holmes, Bailey Curley, Lawless Allen, Daniel Dye, Timmy Hill, Ben Rhodes, Tanner Gregg, Caden Honeycutt, Chase Janes, Justin Carroll, Haley Deegan, Spencer Boyd, Greg Van Alst, Matt Crafton, Jennifer Jo Cobb, Mason Maggio, and Spencer Davis. Xfinity from Kansas, your winner, John Hunter Nemechek. Second, Brandon Jones, who was my pick to win the race. Third, Sheldon Creed. Fourth, Parker Kligerman. Fifth, Austin Hill. Sixth, Josh Berry. Seventh, Brent Moffitt. Eighth, Derek Kraus. Ninth, Joe Graf Jr. 10th, Kaz Growler. The rest, Parker Retzlaff, Jeb Burton, Josh Williams, Connor Mozak, Jeremy Clements, Mason Massey, Ryan Ellis, Justin Alger, Matt Mills, Kyle Sieg, Dawson Cram, CJ McLaughlin, Riley Herbst, Joey Gase, Garrett Smithley, Leyland Honeyman, Anthony Alfredo, Brendan Poole, Raja Caruth, Ryan Sieg, Nick Leitz, Chandler Smith, Blaine Perkins, Daniel Hemrick, Sammy Smith, Cole Custer, Sam Meyer, and Kyle Weatherman. And the Cup Series, your winner from Kansas, Tyler Riddick. Second, Denny Hamlin. Third, Eric Jones. Fourth, Kyle Larson. Fifth, Joey Logano. Sixth, Chase Elliott. Seventh, Kyle Busch. Eighth, Chris Bell. Ninth, Brad Keselowski, who was my pick. 10th, Alex Bowman. The rest, Kevin Harvick, Ryan Blaney, Ross Chastain, Ty Gibbs, William Byron, Daniel Suarez, Eric Almirola, Ryan Preece, Chase Briscoe, Carson Oswalt, Justin Haley, Corey LaJoie, Ricky Stenhouse Jr., Cole Custer, Todd Gilliland, Michael McDowell, Chris Buescher, Ty Dillon, Sheldon Creed, AJ Allmendinger, Austin Cindric, Bubba Wallace, Austin Dillon, JJ Yeley, Harrison Burton, and Martin Truex Jr. So Bristol's next weekend, so it's all-night races. It's Trucks Thursday, Xfinity Friday, and Cup on Saturday. So we gotta remember to do NASCAR on Thursday's show. All right, soccer from the weekend. I will quickly do that. Not a lot of soccer from the weekend because a lot of leagues had off. We'll do MLS, not a lot. DC United, San Jose, 0-0 draw. Miami over KC, 3-2. Minnesota, New England, 1-1 draw. Portland over LAFC, 2-0. And then Sunday, Galaxy and St. Louis, 2-2 draw. And then we had USL over the weekend too. Saturday was loaded. Pittsburgh over Loudoun 3-1. Charleston over San Diego 2-0. Detroit over Miami 2-1. Tampa over Louisville 2-1. Monterrey Bay over Memphis 1-0. Tulsa Phoenix 0-0 draw. Colorado San Antonio 1-1 draw. Orange County El Paso 0-0 draw. Vegas over Oakland 3-1. And Hartford Rio Grande postponed. And then Sunday, Birmingham over New Mexico 1-0. And we really don't have notable soccer coming up until like the 15th, which stinks because I love covering international soccer on the show. Okay, Masked Singer. We forgot to do the season preview on the Friday podcast because of all the football and whatnot, and Fox made the decision to premiere the season last night. Full disclosure, I did not watch the episode because of football conflicts. I will watch it at some point today. So we will recap the show on the Tuesday podcast. So I have no idea who got unmasked. So Madison's got to avoid social media for the next several hours. So I made a list of contestant predictions for season 10 of The Masked Singer. I have it's funny, so 20 contestants, but it's 20 people, and some of these I have as groups or duos or trios or whatever. All right, so here we go. Without further ado, my contestant predictions for season 10. Taylor Armstrong, reality TV show star. We know her from the Real Housewives series, Beverly Hills, Girls Trap, Orange County. George W. Bush, former president. We haven't had a politician on in a while. Last one that was on was Rudy Giuliani, and that was very controversial. So I would understand if Masked Singers shied away from a politician. But George Bush was is somebody that I think that would be more appreciated on the show than Rudy was. Next, I have Courtney Cox. She is an actress. We know her from Friends. Billy Currington, country singer. He has a couple of really good songs, including Good Directions, Must Be Doing Something Right, People Are Crazy, Let Me Down Easy, Pretty Good at Drinking Beer. So a ton of good songs. I think that he'd be a good get on The Masked Singer. Rosario Dawson. She's an actress. We know her from several movies, Men in Black, Zookeeper. So there's the Ken connection there. Lightning Thief, Death Proof. She's done voiceovers in the past as well. So that'd be a good one. Jimmy Fallon, talk show host. The writer strike's going on right now. So that'd be the case against Jimmy Fallon, but you never know. Michael B. Jordan. He's been guest on The Masked Singer so many times. He's an actor. We all know Michael B. Jordan. Here we go. Steve Martin. We've been waiting for Steve Martin to come on The Masked Singer. I may have guessed him in a past season. If I did, forgive me, because I try not to guess the same people all the time. But if a name comes up multiple times now, we've been trying to guess contestants for a long time now, so don't mind me saying the same names multiple times. Philip Phillips, singer and former winner of American Idol. Nobody really knows what he's up to. He has the song called Home and Gone, Gone, Gone. Here's a good one. Jeff Probst, the host of Survivor. What does Jeff Probst do when he's not filming Survivor? I'd love to see Probst on Masked Singer. That would be really, really funny. Dennis Quaid, actor. Dennis Quaid was guest last season for somebody. I forget who it was. He was in Yours, Mine, and Ours. He was in a couple other good movies as well. And here I'm about to say I feel really good about this guest ... of the season. Kelly Ripa. I'm borderline convinced she's on the show this season because there's a couple times in the summer where she was absent from filming her show. They were not rerun shows. She was just outright absent, and Mark Consuelos was having Anderson Cooper and some other guests fill in her seat. What would Kelly be doing out of her show in the summer when they'd be filming? I mean, some would say she'd be filming her game show that she does in the summer called Generation Gap. That's also in California, just like The Masked Singer. So, I think Generation Gap is filmed out in California, so why not? I feel pretty good about this one. And I think I feel pretty good about this one, too. Aaron Rodgers, New York Football Jets quarterback. The case for Aaron Rodgers is that, so obviously the season premiered tonight, and apparently the tease was it's the biggest unmasking in the history of The Masked Singer, and the fact that they're doing it on the football Sunday, you think that somebody related to football would be unmasked. So it would make sense that the biggest name to get moved this offseason in Aaron Rodgers would be the person unmasked on The Masked Singer. It'd be only fitting. So I'm going to go with Aaron Rodgers. Martin Short. And I predict that Martin Short and Steve Martin are going to be a double together. Just like a couple of seasons ago, we had the duo that we thought was potentially Martin and Short. and it ended up being the comedians, Penn and Teller. We thought that Penn and Teller were Steve Martin and Martin Short and Steve Buscemi, but it wasn't them. So I'm going to say that Short and Martin are a double. They're working together right now in that Hulu show with Meryl Streep and some other people. And maybe they potentially filmed Masked Singer in the summer, so you never know. Sister Sledge. The three sisters together in a trio, some sort of costume. Debbie, Kim, and Kathy Sledge. So why not go with Sister Sledge? They're known for their big hit, We Are Family. Hope Solo. Former U.S. women's national team soccer goalie. If someone from USWNT would be on there, I think everybody would think it would be Megan Rapinoe or Abby Wambach talking about like past legends, but why not Hope Solo? I think she was underrated. She could be like the Chloe Kim of this season. Bonnie Tyler, 80s singer. We know her for singing I Need a Hero. And last but not least, Kim Wilde. She sings Kids in America. She has her own version of Born to Be Wild. So I threw a couple of 80s singers in there towards the end. And the one I feel the best about is Kelly Ripa, because of her absence from her show from the summer. Made me very suspicious. I thought about throwing her in this prediction list 2 months ago when she was missing from her show. And then Rogers I thought about the other day because they promoted the biggest unmasking in Masked Singer history. So I went with Aaron Rodgers because if he was on the Masked Singer, would he be the biggest get in the history of Masked Singer, or would it still be Kermit the Frog? I still think Kermit the Frog was the biggest get in the history of the Masked Singer. Although there are some good ones. I need to redo the Masked Singer fame rankings. Maybe we'll do that after the 10th season and see if Kermit could be unseated. All right, now we move on to news and notes. I'm going to try to do this rather quickly. So Brian Daboll was very upset after the loss. He says no excuses, as he credits the Cowboys for doing everything better than we did. He's right. No excuses. I'm happy that Daboll was just straight and not making excuses like a certain other New York coach. Looking right at you, Aaron Boone, who makes excuses every fucking day. Brian Daboll is speaking the freaking truth. He's the best. And he probably coached the worst game of his career last night. And he knows it. We saw Darren Waller play despite the hamstring injury. Emily Hooker played despite being ill. Graham Gano got a 3-year extension. Did not live up to it, missing 2 field goals. One of them was blocked. Novak Djokovic rocked the t-shirt with Kobe Bryant on it, which was amazing. UFC 293, Sean Strickland defeated Israel Adesanya by unanimous decision in the main event. So that was a pretty big upset. Another Yankee injury, Jason Dominguez, torn elbow ligament. He's going to get Tommy John surgery, so we will not see him for a good chunk of next year, it looks like, and that is a crushing loss for the Yankees for 2024, and it could change their offseason plans. Maybe they'll be more motivated to sign Shohei Ohtani potentially this offseason then. The Browns fear that Jack Conklin could be out for the year as he has a significant knee injury. That's brutal for the Browns. Speaking of bad injuries, J.K. Dobbins torn ACL. He's out for the season. J.K. Dobbins, I think, might have played his last snap for the Baltimore Ravens. That guy can never stay freaking healthy. Everybody hypes him up to be this great special running back, but no, he's always hurt, and he's out for the year, and the Ravens seem like they don't miss a beat without him anyway. I feel bad for him, but it's just frustrating hearing somebody get so hyped only for them to get hurt year after year after year. That's J.K. Dobbins. Mark Andrews didn't even play because of his quad injury. Jalen Petre bruised his leg against the Ravens, should be okay. Jonathan Taylor to play week 5. He could already pass the physical, but is not eligible to come off the PUP list yet. Harold Landry came back against the Saints after missing last year with the torn ACL. That was good for the Titans, even though they lost. Ramondre Stevenson played despite being ill. Kendre Miller did not play for the Saints. Adam Thielen suited up for Carolina. Cooper Kupp did not play. He's on IR. There's a chance that he might be out longer than 4 games because of the hamstring. Joe Burrow obviously started. He was bad. He's clearly not healthy. So LeBron James is teasing a Team USA return. So it could be the last dance for the King in Paris next year. Chris Paul expected to start, as he's likely to play in short spurts as a member of the Warriors starting 5. So that's very interesting. Boban Marjanovic back in the league, 1-year deal with the Rockets. That's a nice signing for them. Barca. Lamine Yamal made his Spain debut, becoming the youngest player in Spain's history. Spain football president Luis Rubiales announces his resignation. He's leaving the RFEF and UEFA. So that's a big deal. First team to clinch a playoff spot in 2023 Major League Baseball. Of course, the Atlanta Braves, the best team in baseball. After it was reported that Mel Tucker had been fired because of the sexual harassment investigation, Michigan State actually suspended him because of it. So it was a misreporting by Brett McMurphy about him being fired. And then they actually suspended him. So bad job by Brett McMurphy. Wrong reporting. How about this? Wazoo and Oregon State file formal complaint against conference and Commissioner George Kliavkoff as they take legal action. That's going to get ugly. Germany fires Hansi Flick after losing 4-1 to Japan 9 months before hosting Euro next year. That's insane. Bruce Arena resigns as Revolution's head coach following the league's investigation into insensitive and inappropriate remarks. So Bruce Arena's obviously in trouble. How about this? Roger Clemens calls out George Kirby about his comments about pitching late in game. How about this? Talks over between the Packers and the Colts, as the Colts wanted Christian Watson for Jonathan Taylor. That's ridiculous. The Colts are just imagining getting big prizes for a position that's not valuable anymore. We talked about this the other day. Like, they asked for Jalen freaking Waddle. They're out of their freaking minds. The Bengals and T. Higgins cannot reach an extension before the season opener. Same for the Vikings with Justin Jefferson. Aaron Rodgers says that he could play until 45 as he's following in Brady's footsteps as a possibility. Interesting. No extension for Mike Evans, as I think he's going to potentially be traded, although they're 1-0. You never know. The game between the Lions and the Chiefs on Thursday night was the most watched show since the Super Bowl. So that was pretty funny. That the most watched shows in Super Bowl 57. Obviously, Super Bowl 57 was the Super Bowl we just had. Former wide receiver Mike Williams off of life support as he remains responsive after complications from construction accident. So that is good news that he's off of life support and he's responsive. Obviously, the Yankees had Old Timers Day on Saturday. They were allowed for Derek Jeter. And then Derek Jeter's obviously tweeting pictures with his ex-teammates. Bad news for the Yankees. Luis Severino out for the year with a high-grade left oblique strain. He's probably pitched his last pitch for the Yankees. He's going to either not be in the league next year or not be on the Yankees. He'll probably be on, like, Oakland or some bad team trying to rebuild his value for a trade on a one-year deal. That would be my guess for him next year. Walker Buehler not pitching this year as he recovers from Tommy John. That's not a surprise. Mookie Betts did not play against the Nationals. He's to return today after tests came back negative. Aaron Judge defends Aaron Boone. He says he's the guy as he wants his manager back. What are you supposed to say if you're Aaron Judge? What are you supposed to say? He was put in a bad spot. I can't blame him for saying that because he would have gotten destroyed or at least by the media, he would have been destroyed if he ripped Boone, and the fans would have loved it. The Nationals had a statement on the Strasburg thing after canceling his retirement press conference, the owner says they look forward to seeing Strasburg at spring training. Oh my God, that's pathetic. The Rockies extend German Marquez. Here's $20 million. Nice extension for him. Shohei Ohtani's priority is winning as the potential to win championships matters more to Ohtani than his preference to be on the West Coast. He has two preferences right in California with the Los Angeles Dodgers, and it's clear that the Dodgers want him. The Seattle Storm extends Joel Lloyd 2-year extension, including a Supermax in year 1, so that's good for the Storm to extend their star player. Luka's leg injury not okay, as Doncic said he'll play through the pain no matter what. Steve Kerr says it's not 1992 anymore, as he says the world has caught up since the Dream Team days. He's right. I said that to him earlier. Steve Kerr's telling the truth. Good for him. And I always liked that about Steve Kerr. He was always realistic. I mean, there'd be some times where he would be a little bit like how Aaron Boone is with the Yankees about, like, the fake optimism. Like, I saw that out of Steve Kerr a few times, especially in that year they tanked. But it was an unintentional tank, as that was the year Curry got hurt, and then COVID happened. But outside of that year, I feel like Steve's always been an honest guy. So, Nikola Jovic was trolling Dylan Brooks the other day after Serbia upset Canada. There's some drama with Jamar Chase and Myles Garrett, as Jamar Chase shades the Browns a little bit, and then Myles Garrett said that Jamar Chase went too far, as he jokes around, says that he may speak to Chase before the game after what Chase said about the Elves. And then obviously he looked really, really bad for saying that, Jamar Chase. And then Randy Gregory roasts Mark Davis as he was asked why he hates the Raiders. Yikes. And then they go and lose to the Raiders. Last but not least, my best bet of the day brought to you by FanDuel. So, interesting. In terms of where I could go. I'm leading baseball. I'm going to do a quarter unit because the football picks went 0-5, including the money line, so 0-6. But college made up for it a little bit, 4-1, but the money line lost. So for best bet, I have a couple in mind. But I'm going to go with a team that I think needs to bounce back after a disappointing weekend. And they're a team that right now is in the mix for the wild card in the National League. They're 2 games up on the team they just lost to, which is good. But the weird thing is that they're only 2 back of the Phillies. Yes, that's the Chicago Cubs. I'm going to lay the 1.5 with the Cubs on the run line against the Rockies. I just don't trust the Rockies. So I'm going to lay a quarter unit on Cubs -1.5 at -113 at Colorado for my best bet of the day. Okay, that's it for the show. I'll be back tomorrow recapping everything, looking ahead to everything tomorrow. Portfolio, I have a couple of very interesting thoughts and ideas for portfolio tomorrow. And it has to be NFL related because sometimes the best value you can get in the season is getting a number on a team that lost in week 1 or in the previous week, banking on a turnaround. Find out who that could potentially be on tomorrow's podcast. Hope you guys have a great day, everybody.